Hello, are you here to debate?
Yeah, let's go. What's up, man?
All right, what's your name, age, and pronouns, please?
My name, Sanai, age 35. I don't do that pronoun stuff, my brother. I respect your mom, but I don't
I'm
mess with
sorry,
that.
say that sentence again.
I said, my name is Sanai, 36, and I don't do that pronoun stuff, my brother.
I don't do that pronoun stuff.
Nah.
I don't do that pronoun stuff.
Nah, I don't identify that pronoun stuff, like, unless it's in, like, a regular sentence. I don't do all that with my pronoun stuff. If that's what you want to do, you could do your thing, but that's just not me, my brother.
Uh-huh. Okay. I don't do that pronoun stuff. Got it. Okay. What are you here to talk about?
All right, the trans men and trans women thing. So I'm assuming, based off of I'm assuming, and correct me if I'm wrong, that you believe that trans men are in fact men and trans women are in fact women.
Correct.
Okay. What is a woman?
A woman would be any adult human whose gender identity aligns with their personal schemas on the female sex.
Okay, so when did that definition change?
That's just the definition that I use.
Okay, that's the definition that you use. However, what is the definition? Like, what is the Webster's definition of a woman?
I don't care what the Webster's definition is. Definitions are descriptive, not prescriptive.
See, the issue with that is people can just change. So, okay, let's go down this path. You said just because a person identifies as that, so that makes them that, correct?
No. If their gender identity aligns with their schema on the female sex, that would make them that. The gender identity is aligned with.
I'm just trying to understand, like, where did this definition come from, and when was this definition created? It seems like it always changes from person to person.
So my definition is based on sociological, neurobiological, and psychological evidence on gender identity, on schemas, on how gender is formed in our brain, things like that.
Does gender have anything to do with sex?
They're linked.
Okay, so which one is correct?
What do you mean?
Okay, which one should we go by? Like, okay, if you have a person that's identifying as a woman, however, they were born as a man, and they have to go to, let's say they have a tragic accident or something, and they have to go see a urologist. They're saying that they're a woman, so should they see a gynecologist?
It would depend. Some trans women do need to see gynecologists because of them having vaginas, right? It just depends on what physically they have.
Okay, let's say that he identifies as a woman and God has a penis.
Well, then, yeah, he has the physical parts that he would need to see a urologist for, right? He has the physical part. This doesn't mean that he's a...
But how can you say,
urologist? So, isn't a urologist just a... Don't women see urologists too?
I mean, it can, but typically...
Urologists are just like your urinary tract.
Generally speaking, they deal with the male anatomy. However, there are women that have seen urologists for, let's say, something dealing with the bladder and whatnot. However, typically, more often than not, men tend to see urologists, and women women tend to see...
well, no, urologist just checks your urinary tract. So if a woman has like a UTI, they need to go to a urologist for that.
Yeah, I stated that. However, a lot of men see, because a lot of the urologists specialize in things specific to men, not just bladder, also with the reproductive organs and whatnot. You're not going to go, as a man, I'm not going to get my vasectomy from an OB-GYN or even my primary care physician. I have to see a urologist.
Sure, but this would just have to do with like what physical parts you have, not what your gender is. It's just about what your secondary sex characteristics are.
So it's really just a feeling. So if that's what being identifying as a male or is just a feeling?
You don't identify as a male, you just are male. Male and female are not identities, they just are things that you are.
So how do we get to that point of... Okay, so that's okay. But in regards to gender, is it just I feel like I'm a man, or I feel like I'm a woman, and that's what makes me a man or a woman?
I
my
try to
feelings.
not use the term feel just because, I mean, you can, but when you say the word feel, what that does is, to me and probably others listening, it just signifies that this is like more of a choice thing when it's not, right? Your gender identity is something that's subconscious and inherent to you. And it's decided in utero via hormone washes, right? So your gender identity
Hmm.
is formulated and it doesn't change, just is. It's just something that is. But you identify as man or woman based on the sociological categories that any given society has placed these things in.
Seems a bit more as a feeling because several other definitions from different people, because that's the issue, that is nothing concrete. Because okay, if I ask someone else, they literally just say, "Oh, I feel this way." And I ask five other people, "Okay, why do you identify as this? Why do you say that you're a man now?" "Oh, because I feel like I'm a man. I've always felt as if I was a man."
Yeah, like I
That's the
said, you
main. But
can use the word feel. I just am very careful about it because I feel like it indicates some level of choice. What you do have a choice in is like your expression of your gender, right? So the choice would come from like gender expression, but like the identity aspect isn't a choice. It's just it's an innate. So I would say, actually, I would say feeling is a fine word, but you have to put innate in front of it. So it's an innate feeling. It's an innate subconscious feeling. It's not one that you consciously make. It's just is always there.
the issue that I have, okay, if somebody wants to be that, that's your business, you know. But the problem is that a lot of people have an issue with is you're kind of making other people participate in it, and like, hey, look, tolerance doesn't have to be acceptance. If you want to be Jane, if your name was Jeremy and you want me to call you Jane, now I have no issue with calling you Jane. But when you tell me that I have to also like truly believe the things that you believe, such as like, okay, you're Jane, you are a woman. No, I don't have to believe that because science states this.
Well, so science and biology don't make claims about what men and women are. They only make claims about what males and females are. Right? Man and woman are going to be sociological categories, right? So they're going to be viewed as
all linked.
Like biological science isn't going to look at that, but like the social sciences might. But like again, gender identity is in the brain. We know it's a neurosocial concept. We know that your gender identity forms in utero. We know that different hormone washes may affect what your gender identity is. We know this to be the case. So like to even say that like, well, science wouldn't say this. Science kind of does, right? It kind of does tell us that this is how gender identity works.
Not really. All right, let me ask a question with this. All right, so it seems that it's more of a social thing of what a man and what a woman is, right? So a person can kind of, you know, I guess they're whatever outside influence has on them, however they're growing up, and however they innately feel that's it, right? That's basically how they kind of decide that and pick that, right?
Man and woman would be like okay. So man and woman.
So it's more of an outside. So it's more sociology. It's more of a. Is it more of a? Is it a social construct? Is gender a social construct?
So gender is neurosocial, and there's two different types of gender. So we can look at like gender identity, which is going to be like your sense of yourself, or we can look at like gender in the social construct. Gender in the confines of society, which is going to be slightly different. Gender in the confines of society is going to be, these are the typical behaviors, expressions, phenotypes that we see associated with sexes. That's how we have sort of formulated gender from a societal standpoint. It's just, we need to look at it as a typical, right? Society doesn't set rules for gender. They just tell you what we typically see with gender. And then gender identity is going to be a neurological concept that it talks about how your brain interprets its relation to your genotypic and phenotypic sex.
And that is based on the choice of the person, correct?
Not choice. Gender expression would be choice. Gender identity is innate. It's a subconscious thing. You don't choose your gender identity. It chooses you.
Okay. So if kids just living his life and all of a sudden just say, you know what, I innately feel like I'm a girl. So everybody has to refer to me as a girl because this is innately, how what I believe and to be true.
Well, so the issue is that they wouldn't be. The issue here is that's not how it works, right? They wouldn't be like, I all of a sudden feel this way. They might all of a sudden have the words to put in.
Okay, let's say that they're 18 years old and they felt like that they believed this since they were 5 years old, and now they're 18, and they can express themselves and like, hey, look, I've always believe this. This has always been my thought process since I've known this since I was a kid. I'm 18 years old now, so I am a woman. Is that enough?
Yeah, I would say yes. They've always been a woman. They've just been expressing themselves as a boy because they weren't given the opportunity to express themselves how they actually.
Can I do the same thing as being a black man? If I'm just like all these years, I'm black, right? Physically, like when you see me, oh, he's a black guy. Can I say that no, I'm not? I am a white woman.
No, race is not a sense of self.
Why? Race
There's
is
no race. There's no race.
A social construct.
Right? No, but when we're talking about social constructs are different, right? I like the money is also a social construct, but I can't just like be a billionaire, right? I can't just identify as a billionaire. There are different types of social constructions. And like I've already said, the social constructed part of gender is going to be the two categories and the expressions of those two categories, not gender itself. The gender is also a neurobiological concept. So your gender identity is neurobiological. It's a way your brain just innately identifies itself in terms of these social categories. There is no innate when it comes to race. So for instance, I don't wake up and go, I'm black because there's some innate part of me that goes, I'm black. Blackness is a cultural thing that's put upon me, specifically in a legal sense, right? It's put upon you in a legal sense, and those categories shift and change. For example, Irish and Italian Americans were not considered white. They were not white until white people needed to adopt them into the fold because they were starting to team up with black people, and white people were like, nah, we can't have that. So then all of a sudden, Irish and Italian Americans were now welcomed as white people socially, right? So race is just a completely different concept, and I do think it's a bit of a misnomer to try to analogize it with gender just because of how those two things work.
Nah, because I'm looking at you like I'm looking at this person. Hey, you look like a guy. You got a penis, so I'm going to assume that you're a guy. And same thing with you looking at me as a black guy, like looking at my skin and everything. Like I'm going to assume that you're a black guy. You know what I'm saying? Like we really kind of like in the last couple of years kind of missed this thing.
That's not anything about how you identify. Right. That's not about identity. That's just about prescription. And we do prescriptions with gender too. Right. There's nothing wrong with looking at someone and making a prescriptive claim based on how they look and being like, oh, are you a man? I think you're a man. Right. Until they say otherwise. Right. There's nothing wrong with the prescription here.
Right. I don't think people, like, again, this is the thing, man. People don't really, for the most part, most people don't give a damn. But the issue is when it starts to affect their lifestyle. Like I shouldn't have to, if I shouldn't have to assume that I got to throw everything out of the window and assume that you are this because you, I guess, innately feel this way. If you want to do that, do your thing. But the problem is you have things. Okay, you have something like, all right, along the line of I've seen several videos. And it may be a small group of people and everything, but it's several videos where trans people are buying feminine products, like such as tampons and sanitary napkins, like pads and whatnot. Several, and they're making TikTok videos and YouTube videos. I can pull up plenty.
Have you ever asked why they do that, though?
Ask why they do that? They said why, because I guess they wanted to feel included and they wanted to really feel like a woman.
So no. So
that's what one person said.
So let me correct you on that. Most of the time when you see a trans person and they're buying feminine products, oftentimes that trans person has had bottom surgery. So they need feminine products because they will sometimes have spotting and bleeding, and they need feminine products to prevent this. Another aspect of it is a lot of trans people have said, trans women specifically, I buy feminine products, so if I'm in the bathroom and a cisgender person needs them, I have them on hand for them. That's also a reason some of them carry around feminine products.
That's not a good enough reason.
I think these are fine reasons to have these things.
The reason I'm going to disagree with you on that, all right, so I'm married to my wife. My wife has an issue with fibroids, which causes heavy bleeding. So when we were dealing with the thing of, what was that? I want to say the supply chain, there were issues with the supply chain and whatnot. So I literally had to drive around like different towns and everything. I'll give the area that I live in. I live in New Orleans, so I'm in New Orleans, and I had to literally drive to Mississippi to find tampons and everything for my wife. And then I see videos like this and people that don't need it, like, oh, I just want to hand it out and everything. Like, nah, it's not a thing of handing it out. They need it. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of women feel this way and believe this, but they won't say it. But a lot of women are like, okay, while you're basically playing around with it, I'm in desperate need for it. And a lot of women take offense to that.
I recognize what you're saying, but you have to understand that it is kind of in a ridiculous claim to make to say that there were no feminine products because all the trans people took them. There was a supply chain.
I didn't say that. However, but if hold on, let's go here. If we're having a shortage with water somewhere, right, and you see somebody just kind of buying up a bunch of water and just pouring it and all that, you're gonna look like, damn, that's kind of wasteful, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, all of us are having, like, you may not have bought my last water. However, it's kind of irresponsible if we're having these issues out here. It's kind of irresponsible on you to kind of buy this and you don't really have a need for it.
Wait, but again, the ones that do have a need. Like, the bulk of the trans women that are buying them are post-op trans women who need
the majority.
Those products.
Hold on, let me ask you something. Let me ask a question. Do you believe that most trans women are having surgery, or that most trans women?
No, but I believe most trans women who are buying feminine hygiene products are post-op. Yes. Absolutely.
Even the ones that are saying that I'm not post-op and saying that, hey, I'm just buying it just to hand them out.
Yes, I believe the majority of trans women that are buying feminine products are post-op and need those products. And I believe I fully believe that, first of all, the burden of proof on you on this is so high, right? You would have to not only prove that the bulk of them are buying these for X reason, which is really hard to do. You would then have to prove that during this shortage, there was enough trans women buying these products that it made them inaccessible. And I don't think it's not possible to prove this. Instead, we should be upset with the supply chain issues, not with the people buying. Because, like, what about
I can be upset.
But wait, hold on. Would we be upset about cis women that are buying the products when they're not on their period, so they don't actually need them yet, but they're buying these products in bulk?
How many are doing that?
Most
and making videos about it.
Products.
But also, I can't. I'm gonna let you rock with the. Again, it's free speech and everything, but I'm gonna let you rock with the cis thing. A lot of women, the majority of women, actually don't like that term. So how can we expect? I can. Hey, we can line up a bunch of women on. I know it may be anecdotal, but I'm willing to bet the majority. I know a lot of women between work, home, and everything else, and the overwhelming majority of women don't like that term.
I don't care. That doesn't mean anything to me.
And that's the messed up part right there, that you don't care.
I disagree.
So you claiming that, a lot of people claiming that they care about women, so it seems like you care about the trans more than the women. And the women are saying, hey, that offends me. I don't like that.
I don't care about.
Would you call a woman
offended.
a cis woman?
Yes.
Would you, if a woman tells, let me ask a question. If a woman tells you, hey, look, if y'all having a conversation, hey, I really don't like that term. Could you please not refer to me as a cis woman? Would you stop referring to her as a cis woman?
No. Not if
you wouldn't stop referring to her as a cis woman?
Not if we're comparing and contrasting her to trans women, no.
If she's saying that offends her. So if a trans person is saying, if I'm having a conversation with a trans person and I'm calling them a guy, even though saying that, oh, no, I'm a woman, to keep the conversation going, should I just continue to call, like, hey, bro, hey, buddy, hey, guy?
Would you like me to explain why I view this as like a non-issue?
Yeah, go with it.
So when it comes to the term cis, all the term cis says is you are not trans. That's it. That's all the
Well,
term
why
means.
just not say woman? Okay, the separation
The only reason
the
somebody would
separation
be
has already been made when you say your separation has already been your separation has already been made when you said that you're trans. You already separated yourself.
No,
That's the identifier right there by saying that you're trans. So why does the woman have to separate herself even more? So like from what she's the woman. She is the woman.
Again, this is the issue, right? You're begging the question when you ask this, right? Because trans women to me are women. I believe trans women are women. I believe they're women neurobiologically. I believe they're women socially. I believe they're women psychologically. When you say, well, why not just call them women? It's because you don't believe them to be women. So that's why you think they should just be called women, right? I don't separate. Trans and cis are just adjectives that we put on the word woman to describe the type of woman we're talking about. So when I say that there is a cis woman, I'm just saying this is a woman whose gender identity aligns with her sex. When I say there's a trans woman, this is a woman whose gender identity does not align with their sex. That's it. And if someone says, well, I don't like the word cis, I don't like you using that word, it's because they're transphobic. They don't want to be associated with trans people. They believe that they are women and they are not, and trans women are not women. This is not a relevant reason for me to not call somebody cis, right? All this is saying, it's like if somebody goes, I'm not racist, but I do hate black people, but so don't call me racist. But I do hate black people, but you can't call me racist. No.
At what point is that? Does it say that a woman? Does a woman saying that, hey, look, I don't want to be. I prefer not to be called cis. I prefer not to be called cis. Where's the hatred? She's just literally saying, hey, I prefer to be called this. If I prefer to be called this. This is my preference. This is what I identify. This is my innate feeling. This is all of this is like everything that you said. And she's
cis
like,
is not an innate feeling, right? Cis just means
it's
that your
actually even
gender
more so
identity
because
aligns with your sex.
she's actually the woman. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but see, there it is again. It's just transphobia wrapped in the package of trying to. It's transphobia
not a phobia
that they're
because
trying
I'm not.
to wrap.
Hold on, wait a minute. It's not a phobia. Y'all got to stop using that phobia thing because a phobia is what? The definition of phobia is a fear. No one's
or aversion.
afraid.
A fear or aversion.
Another new age definition.
Wait, it's not new age. Are things that are hydrophobic? Are they afraid of water? No.
Hold on 1 second.
Water just rolls off of them. Right?
1 second. So you go by the definition of phobia, though, but you don't go by the definition of trans, right? Because I know you said, well, this is my definition. So,
but again, definitions are just descriptive. So when I'm describing a phobia, I'm describing people that have a fear and or aversion to something, right? That doesn't mean that this definition is the correct definition. It's the definition I use when I use the word.
So you would still sit up there and disrespect a woman by saying, if she's literally saying, like, please don't refer to me as cis, you would still refer to her as cis.
Yes, because I don't view it as disrespect. I view it as labeling.
Okay, well, I don't view it as disrespect. Okay,
like
I don't
if somebody
view it as
was like, don't call me a human, I'm still going to call them human, right? Because scientifically they are human.
Okay, but at the same time, they can't have the, okay, well, I can say that you're, what's the term for it? You have a fear against women or something? An aversion to women?
How so?
You can't refer to her as what she is.
I am referring to her as what she is. She is a woman whose gender identity aligns with her sex. I'm literally referring to her as what she is.
She's a woman. A
cis woman, yes.
She's a woman.
A cis woman, absolutely.
She's a woman. And see, this is the issue that a lot of people this is the thing that a lot of us guys are going to have to start doing is pushing back on things like this because we've gotten to a point where it's become so comfortable now to where y'all think y'all can affect other people. Like, if you want to live your life like that, by all means, live your life like that. But just like you don't have to participate in it. You say you're going to keep calling, the woman cis. I could still keep calling God buddy. Like, I don't believe what you believe. I don't believe what you believe. You 6'6", you got a penis, you got these chromosomes, you're a guy. Now, if you wanted me to call you Jane, if you wanted me to call you Terica and your name was Terrence, I have no issue with that, but I'm not going to sit up here and say that you're a woman because you're not. And it's disrespectful. So let me walk you through what's happening here.
So instead of engaging with the actual conversation that we've been having, you're now trying to hop on some moral grandstand. All you're doing is virtue signaling. You're going, well, see, you don't actually care about women because it's a virtue signal, right? I've already explained to you, right? When we tell somebody is cis, it's just a scientific term to say that their gender identity aligns with their sex. So no, I'm not going to play the virtue signal nonsense. I'm not gonna, it's just a point. It's quite literally nonsensical.
I mean, right here, literally saying, don't call her cis women.
Good
so y'all would literally just sit up there and just continue to disrespect women. Like, y'all are really the more disrespectful ones out of this thing, man. Like, even with the bathroom situation and all that, man. It's crazy, man. That's absolutely crazy. I had to literally stand there.
I just said?
Yes, I did, actually, because you were claiming that you were walking me through something, and you were saying instead of me, I was virtue signaling and standing on a moral high ground. You don't believe that I'm addressing the issue. Yes, I did, actually. I can do two things at once, my man.
Yeah, so all you're doing right now is you're continuing the virtue signal.
Would have apologized and say, yeah, you were, hold up. What do you say? Oh, I'm sorry about that. It's like you were paying attention. My bad, bro.
No, I'm not going to apologize. I didn't accuse you of anything wrong. I just asked if you were paying attention.
You one of those guys, man. See, I'm going to keep it 100 with you. This is what is kind of needed. These conversations are kind of needed to kind of see where people are going to have to draw the line up in the sand. And I stand for something. So you stand on your end, and I'm going to stand on my end. But it's going to get to the point where to defend these things, like throughout human history, violence has to come a part of it. Are you willing to stand on that for strangers and everything like that? I have something to fight for.
Are you talking?
I have daughters. I have a wife. I have moms and all that. And if they're viewing it as disrespectful, and the majority of women are viewing it as disrespectful,
I disagree that the majority of women view it as disrespectful, first and foremost. You'd have to prove this. You're not able to.
I can absolutely prove it. Okay, I mean, what I can do is we can set up a poll. Do you want to set up a poll? We can do this. We can set up a poll. Like, we can just set up there, like, okay, because I can easily pull up the majority of people that I know, and you can pull up the majority of people that you know, but that's kind of anecdotal on both of our ends. I believe that I know more people than you do, but I'm willing to make that, I'm willing to compare stats that majority of women agree with me that they do find the term cis to be offensive. They're literally making videos on it now, TikTok videos, and saying, I'm not cis. I don't refer to that. I am a woman. This is what I am.
Yes, this is again, anecdotal.
Okay, well, how do you want to compare this? We can compare this, and we can.
Sure, I'm running a poll right now on YouTube. 93% of people say no. They don't hate the word cis. They don't find it offensive. So there we go.
Okay, these are your subscribers, correct?
You said do a poll, right? I'm doing a poll.
Yeah, I'm okay. What I'm saying, I say I can compare. We can compare.
If the majority of women didn't like it, I would assume that would bleed over into the people that I talk to. But there would be people I talk to that don't like it too.
Check and see how many subscribers that you have, buddy. Give me 1 second. Unless you want, if you want to just give
again,
that.
I don't think this matters, right? I don't.
It does matter. If you're saying that the majority of women don't, but you can't necessarily prove because you're within your own anecdotal base who subscribe to your channel versus the people that I know, you know what I'm saying? And I'm willing to bet that I know a larger amount of people than you. I'm willing to compare that number, man. I don't think that you talk to all of these women. You can't be talking to all these women because they're all saying is that the majority, I can't say all, the majority of women they're saying that it's offensive.
Yeah, again, you're just virtue signaling, my guy.
It's not virtue signaling. If they're saying that
it is a virtue signal, right? The reason they are offended by
hold on, wait a minute.
Because
if I'm defending someone if someone calls you some sort of racial slur and I'm defending it, is it me virtue signaling and be defending it if it's wrong?
Slur. Cis is not a slur. A racial slur.
Women are referring to it as a slur
right now. You're being so disingenuous right now. I don't care if they refer to it as a slur. That doesn't make it a slur. If I call someone a Karen, is this a slur because they're like, you're slurring me now just because they say it's a slur? No.
It's offensive.
Right? This is a virtue signal. I'm gonna need you to stop virtue signaling. It really is, my guy. I'm gonna need you to stop virtue signaling. That's not what a slur is, right? When someone calls me the N-word, they are not referring to me as anything. They're not referring to me as anything more than okay. If you're not gonna be here genuinely, I'm gonna move. The fuck? I don't do disingenuous nonsense over here. So anyway, to finish my thought, right? To finish my thought, when it comes to slurs, slurs are not referring to you as some scientific category. The word cis is quite literally just saying you are not trans. Are cis women trans? No. So why wouldn't I call them that? The only reason they don't like the word is because of its association with transness. And so, no, I'm not going to fucking cater to bigots.